Yes, guys, welcome back to another show, man. Another panel show. Lots to discuss. One more game for City to win the league. I've just seen Luke with his glasses on, man. That's funny, that. What a guy.
Star Mick.
Okay. Yeah, lots to discuss, guys. One more game for City to win the league. And obviously, we got the FA Cup. And there's some breaking news that there's going to be a vote on VAR at the next meeting between the clubs as to whether or not it should be scrapped. This is actually legit. It's a proposal being put forward by Wolves. They want it scrapped. We'll have a discussion about that as well. Guys, as always, make sure you smash a like. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well as if you are new. Big up to the lads for joining me. Bevo, man. Is this the first time you've been on with me on this channel, Bevo? Or you've been on before?
I've been on before on the call-in show.
Right.
First appearance on the panel.
Nice one. Nice. How you doing, man? You good?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. You?
Yeah, man. I'm chilling. I'm buzzing. I'm still buzzing about last night.
Still getting over from last night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, big up for coming on. Big up, Sai. How you doing, bro?
I am fucking amazing, I have to admit. Today was a great day, man. Walking into office, all these geezers normally wearing Arsenal shirts and stuff. I just walked around with my hands on my head. I can't wear football shirts at work anymore, but I can give them hell when I come into office. So today was fucking awesome. Wow. I loved it. Every single moment of it.
That's good. Luke, what are you saying, bro?
Yeah, on the same page as all of you, on cloud nine after last night. Doesn't get much better than that, especially my cousin's partner being an Arsenal fan and constantly getting the WhatsApps of abuse. So looks like it's going to be a sky blue suit at his wedding in July as well. So it's much more better for that bet. So yeah, bring on Sunday.
Big up, Antone. How you doing, Bray?
Hello, mate. All good, mate. Yeah, I'm really good. Yeah, sorry, it's cutting up a bit on my thing. It's probably my Wi-Fi. But yeah, brilliant. Yeah, Marie supports Arsenal, so I've been on the wind-ups, and then I went into works. I wasn't actually going in, but I know someone who supports Arsenal who was in. So I made the journey, went into the office, bought a newspaper for the first time in about 20 years, left it on their desk, walked off. Loving it. Yeah, brilliant.
I missed the office banter. It was, although I didn't have any Arsenal fans in my work, but office banter is good. Right, let's get into it then. Last night, where do you want to start, Bevel? Let me come to you straight away. Throw you in, bro. Thoughts on last night, especially the second half performance, because for me, chat know I've given my opinion on this quite a lot last night and today, but I thought yesterday's second half performance was such a mega performance. The lads digged in, they dug deep, and it was just a proper professional. It was a performance of a team, in my opinion, mate, who've won stuff before and know how to get the job done.
Yeah, so the first 45 minutes going into half time, always optimistic, but it wasn't looking great. Come out second half, totally different team. Thought when we came out the second half, we came out strong. Got at them a little bit more. As you've seen there, Ortega's probably the game changer for us. I think him coming on and making that crucial save, 2-3 crucial saves.
Mm-hmm.
That's our this year's version of Gundogan when he sort of came on against Villa. That was the turning point. But yeah, second half, really, really good performance. They say, we've not looked great all season, and we haven't. But I think it shows a real champion's performance when you can sort of not scrape wins, but certainly come up against sort of different tactical setups. And because you know how it is, most people sit behind us for 90 minutes, but they came out, they gave it us, and yeah, credit where credit's due. I think they actually had a really good performance. But yeah, 3 points. That's all that matters.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, man? Because obviously we've been unbeaten since the 6th of December, as everyone knows. But since the turn of the Arsenal game, really, when we drew 0-0. I think we've played our best football since that Arsenal game, man. I really do. I think we've been playing really. I think it's our best football all season since the Arsenal game. I don't know whether it's because the pressure was on, and I do genuinely feel that this team plays better under pressure. You know, people always say, "Oh, City always start slow," or we always have a slow mid part of the season, and then we always get good at the end, which is true. Like, the only thing really you can think of is that the pressure's on at the business end of the season. I think these players, you know, I think they enjoy it. I've said it before. I think they enjoy the pressure. I think they thrive off it. I don't think it suits our players, our manager, to be playing when there's no pressure, i.e., start of the season. That's just my take, Si, because yesterday, like I say, they were 45 minutes away from losing the league, and they went out in that second half, and they just got the job done. They did, man, and I was confident. Even at half-time, I was worried, but I was confident. I was so confident in the team that they'd get the job done.
Yeah, like we have table tennis at work, right? And I know I'm the best at it, but to keep making them come back and bet money against me, I have to, let them think they can win it. So I let them. We played to 21, so I let them have 10 or 11 points, right? I'm not even kidding. I like joking
I'd
around,
murder you
and
with
then
table tennis.
yeah. Oh, bro, meet me at 22 Manchester on Saturday. I'll beat you up.
Do you want receipts?
Oh, come on,
After
bro.
this.
Bring it.
Oh yeah, guys, we need a Si versus Luke table tennis match off.
We'll do it. I took my mate's money last time in 22 down in the basement there.
Yeah, but you're from a Scandinavian country, actually, so
we have some of the best table tennis players.
Where is it? Denmark or Norway?
Denmark. Oh,
Michael Mays,
now.
Alan Benston.
Yeah, Michael Mays.
Michael Mays. That was my idol growing up.
He's my dad. Yeah. Nah. No, but I know. So I'm trying to make it like a parallel to how City plays. So in the beginning, they know that the better team, right? And it's not 100% switched on because they know they can be 10% off and then still turn it on in the end and win either way. And I think that's what we're seeing this season, even though we're not at our best. When it matters, we step up. And just imagine if we win the league with not being the best, which everyone has told us all through season. Imagine next season when we should be back to our best, like historic. If we look at like historic wise, right? Man, scary times. Scary times.
I agree. I think if City get the transfers right, I think next season we can do it again and potentially do a 5-peat. Of course, it's not technically finished yet. We've still got to beat West Ham, but I think most of us believe that we'll beat West Ham. But yeah, listen, I agree. It's the way City are cooking into gear when we get into the sort of pressure stage, and that's what we're doing. We're playing our best football, and it's no surprise to me that we're playing our best football now. Now that the pressure's on, and it's one more game. After that Arsenal game, I said we have to win 9 out of 9 to win the league. We have to win 9 out of 9, yeah. And we've won 8. With one game left. Like, we're so close, Luke. Give me your take on it, mate.
Yeah, obviously we're kind of looking at it that beating Spurs, we've done it, but we've still got to go and beat West Ham on Sunday. Our home record is impeccable, so we're kind of taking it as a given. Obviously, in the past as well, we've had our few issues, Villa at home, to say the least, but came through it. But yeah, I think we'll be fine, and obviously just get a good start like we didn't get against Spurs last night, against West Ham. David Moyes' last game, is he just going to roll over and put the kids out? But we'll wait and see. There's always that typical City mindset in us, I think, where we're like, oh, could it go wrong?
Yeah, no, if you look at the last 3 times we've played at home, we had the QPR game, stress. West Ham game, not really that stressful. Aston Villa, stress. So it's 2-1, man. So we're either going to go if you look at it statistically, it's not looking good, Brev. Or you could say, well, it could balance itself out. We're going to get a nice, easy win. I think, to be honest with you, West Ham, the manager's leaving. They've not been in good form at all. I know they won the last game, but it was against Luton. They've not been in good form. And I just expect City to go out there on Sunday and just get the job done personally. It'd be interesting to see what team he's picked, because I don't know about you guys here, but I'm really liking this system that he's been playing at the at the moment, which is kind of mad because we always talk about the system that we won the treble with last year. But having Gavardiol on left hand side, the sort of three centre, the three defenders, although Walker does bomb forward, having the ability to have Foden and Kevin De Bruyne in the middle gives us more creativity. Having Kovacic and Rodri in there as well gives us that control. It also gives us the control in the middle of the pitch rather than the control on the wing, which you get with Grealish. Let me throw that out to one of you guys. Who wants to come in on this? What are your thoughts on the system that we're currently playing?
I think it should have come in sooner, if I'm being honest. I think we left it quite late to sort of chop and change and things, but it works, which is great. I'm not getting too hung up on it because we've got, 2 games left. I know come pre-season he'll try something new again. So I never really sort of get tied up with that, but it's getting the job done, and that's all that matters.
Don't you think the reason why he left it so late was that he really wanted to go with the Stones inverting role, but he kept getting injured and couldn't really be relied on. So he had to stray away from that and then go with Guardiola, and then that clicked into gear, and now he won't revert back to Stones because right now we're just in the groove.
Yeah, I do. I think once Pep gets sort of an idea in his head, he wants to try and persist with it until it works. And then I think it just got to the point where with injuries and, with key players missing, I think it was a case of just needs must, just go with the best setup that we can.
Do you not think, though, looking at like what he's done with this system now, do you not think it's kind of the same as how it kind of transpired last season? Obviously, we started the season with when we had Cancelo and Walker trying to play with inverted fullbacks at the start. And then obviously it's transpired throughout the season that actually that's not going to work. We'll keep Walker out wide. We'll drop Stones into the middle, give him some freedom. And this has kind of just naturally happened again, rather than it being Pep wanting to kind of...
Yeah, so kind of. I think Stones coming up into midfield leaves sort of more space at the back. So, but whereas when we're playing Kovacic, we don't have to do that.
Well, it gives Rodri freedom as well, whereas Stones was the one who looked he was kind of progressing a little bit more than Rodri in that position. Whereas now Rodri has the ability to roam forward a little bit more because you have a player of the class of Kovacic who is smart enough to know when Rodri's going, he'll drop. Whereas I think sometimes Stones didn't understand that. Obviously, coming in from a centre-half, he's pushing forward. He's not then wanting to kind of drop back again.
Yeah.
Rodri's never looked more comfortable than he has done with Kovacic. Absolutely right. He looks confident when he's playing the ball to Kovacic as well. Kovacic's got 2 men around him. Rodri's still playing the ball. He's so comfortable and confident around Kovacic, and vice versa. They're just feeding off each other. A brilliant partnership to build off in midfield, and it's worked.
Tone, you think Kovacic gets the credit he deserves?
Absolutely not. No, but I don't think he has in his career. I don't think he has really elsewhere. Yeah, I don't think he has at Chelsea. If the Chelsea fans rate him, but if you ask, to be honest, I'll be absolutely honest. If you'd have asked me when he was at Chelsea and Real Madrid, I've gone, he's all right. He's one of those players that you only really respect him properly when he plays for you. It may be a bit like Grealish as well in a way. I think Kovacic, I've said this before in here, I know, but amongst the top 5-6 performances for City, Kovacic is in 2 or 3 of them as one of the best performances, Newcastle and so on. He's been a brilliant signing. Brilliant.
Well, on the system thing, because it's an interesting point raised by the lads here, especially Luke. I think that, because Luke was speaking about, how did we get into this system? You know what I mean? How did we just naturally fall into it? Well, I think what I realised as the season progressed forward is that I don't think you can have John Stones push into midfield if you've got Kovacic there as well, in my personal opinion, because it's too, at the end of the day, if you actually look at who scores goals in this team, it's not spread around. Yeah, because Grealish don't score, Bernardo Silva don't really score, Kovacic don't score. There's the only people who really score consistently in this team: Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, Foden, and Rodri. Yeah. So if you've got Kovacic in the side, and you've got John Stones pushing into midfield. Well, that's two people in advanced areas of the pitch, i.e., pushed up Kovacic and John Stones, who are not going to be scoring. You can't. If you play them two, you definitely can't play Grealish as well, because that's another one. So for me, I think what's happened is we've found a situation where obviously we've been forced into it really because we didn't sign a midfielder good enough, but we signed Kovacic. He's allowed Rodri to blossom further forward. Yeah, but then obviously because Kovacic is playing, I don't think John Stones really looks as good when he pushes in because we're asking him to do too much, or we're asking Kovacic to do too much. And then of course you've also got the thing that now Grealish got dropped out because he was injured. Gvardiol's doing really well on the left hand side, and if we're being honest, Gvardiol kind of gives us what Grealish does on that left hand side, but as a left back. And then it also allows you to put Foden and Kevin De Bruyne in the middle. So I think personally, you fall into these systems. I don't think that Pep sits there and say, right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this, and this. I just think like over the course of the season, he identifies things that are working, things that are not working, and eventually, by the time we get to sort of March, the system's there, and all he needs then is the players to be fit. And we've got to accept that we've been a bit lucky as well, a bit fortunate that in the running we've not really had injuries to those key players. Like Kovacic would have gone down, the whole system changes. You probably do see John Stones push into the midfield in that situation. You might see Grealish on the left. But, you know, I just feel like we fall into these systems. But it's completely different to last year. You know, last year has its pros and cons. This year has its pros and cons. But it's just fascinating, like as a City fan, that we can sit here year after year and watch a new team. Because this isn't the same as last year. It's a different team. It's a different tactical setup. And I just feel like we're very lucky in that regard.
But that also comes down to the combination of Guardiola and Kovacic. They solve the same problems as Grealish and Stones does, just from other positions
I agree.
on
I
the
agree.
pitch. So if you played Ake and Grealish, you could play Foden and Kevin in midfield. Grealish and Stones have been injured so much this season, and also in different times, so they've never really been fit at the same time, which then goes back to we need the combination of either, well, what they do, Grealish and Stones together, and if none of them are there together, we have to find somewhere else to solve the same problems, and then that just goes down to Gvardiol and Kovacic. So I just think it gives us so many opportunities also for next season on how we can play and how we will play. Like people have so hard time finding out how we will line up and how we will do, and maybe adding a Frimpong or something into that mix. Man.
Well, let me get your take on this one. I'm sure you guys have all seen the rumours that are going around now. Jamie Frimpong has been linked to Manchester City, £34 million release clause. Obviously, we've got Jan Couto, who is technically a Manchester City player, technically coming back, but by the sounds of it, doesn't seem like he's that interested about coming back. Maybe he's got a move already lined up. All I think is, imagine if we had and this is no slight on Kyle Walker, I thought he played quite well last night, but imagine if we had a right back yesterday who could actually cross a ball, you know what I mean? Because the amount of times Walker got in down that right hand side in that first half was wild. Like, what's your thoughts on City getting an attacking fullback, but an actual attacking fullback that is more natural to say someone like Cancelo, who's not a traditional attacking fullback? He's much more of the modern ilk. Like, it's been a long time. I guess it's probably been like, I don't know, like Zabaleta was quite old school, but he did get down the wing and get crosses in. Clichy, Kolarov, of course. Like, it seems like a long time since we've had a player like that.
Yeah. I think it's an area City will look at for sure. And I think we'll look at maybe a longer term replacement for Walker as well, who may go in the summer. So, but you're right, if we had someone who could whip the ball in, for example, a Kolarov, but on the other side type thing, if you see what I mean, last night, especially that first half, bloody hell, you know, it's frightening. But yeah, it'd be nice to get that. I don't know about the Frimpong links. I'm not sure if they're reliable links or not. I don't know who's reported it.
Craig Party-Time just wrote before I saw that.
Right.
Like, they're talking to the representative of Frimpong, and Leverkusen are looking at Jan Couto, and they could do like almost a swap deal. It will be the individual deals, but the total of it will be kind of the same. He wrote it before, and if that happened, I mean, not really a downside to it, because if Jan Couto wants to leave, he will leave. And if we can get like 30 million for him with 1 year left, that's good money, I think. And he might be interested in going to Leverkusen, who will play Champions League football. And Frimpong might say, yeah, like boyhood club, all that, best team in the world, work under Pep, 35 the other way around. I think that would be a good deal for all parties.
30 million for Jan Couto on a year left would be unbelievable business, to be honest.
I think. Go on, Tone.
No, you go, Bevo. I'll stop, mate.
I was just going to say, I think there's more reason to go for Frimpong than there is anyone else. Obviously, being at the academy, he kind of knows the style of play, and he'll have familiar faces here from staff and things like that. But then you've also got to look at the other side of it. Whereas, like, if you look at most other right backs that are available, they don't have that same pace that Walker has. And being the age that Frimpong is, the only thing that he doesn't have to Walker is kind of like the strength side of things. If you look at like pace for pace, Frimpong's rapid. And I think as well with him knowing City with being at the academy and things, I think it would make it probably the best.
He's homegrown. Yeah, he's homegrown as well. So
Yeah, homegrown.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Can he defend though? Because I put a tweet out before. A lot of people said, "LB, this guy can't defend, man."
We don't need him to defend. We don't need him to defend. That's not why. Like, if we get Frimpong, that will not be for the Real Madrid games. We will still have Walker probably.
Yeah.
Let's just say Kanji. Yeah,
well, that's what I said. This on the video before.
It's just another tool, guys. Like, people need to like. So we will play more games next season, and adding a tool like Frimpong with the season he's had, and with the quality he have, I mean, I think it would be the money worth and a risk, like worth the risk as well.
It's nice getting these players in and stuff, but is the squad size increasing? It might be. I'm not saying it isn't, but we have a pretty good squad. Like yesterday, okay, Gomez isn't great, but he misses out, and obviously there's other players out on loan and so on who will come back. You've got to. It's nice to have Frimpong and Walker and all this sort of stuff, but who's going? That's always the question to ask when we had this. Go on, side.
Gomez, Bernardo, Calvin.
I think Walker.
Maybe Walker. Yeah, I think Walker.
Maybe De Bruyne. Like, we don't know yet, but probably not. But maybe Nunes. Like, I think the squad size the number of it might not increase, but the number of players who we will rely on should increase. Like, replacing the number with Gomez with a reliable player we will use more. I think that's important because this season I do think we saw that if we had gone through against Real Madrid, I think we will have been a problem in the league. So, and that basically come down to players getting tired, players getting injured. So I think we need more players we will rely on with minutes, and maybe just increase the numbers with 1 or 2 players, but have more players that we play regularly.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just thinking because the squad at the Mo is 20, say 21, and Gomez is the 21st. That 20 is good. I mean, very, very good. You saw yesterday the squad. It's ridiculous options. What I'm worried about, and Pepper said before, he likes a smaller, trimmer squad. I can't see it. I can't see there being more than this 20 group. I just don't see it. But if you're saying people go and come in, fine. But it won't be 24, 25 players.
No, but he's also not blind to see that the amount of minutes that his players are playing. And like, he's not blind to that. And he keeps on talking about all the extra games that keeps adding on year. So like a small squad 5 years ago might not be a small squad now or next year. So in terms of that, it might still be a small squad, but still a bigger squad than 5 years ago. So that's just my thoughts. I think that's the way he's going.
I think Pep came out the other day actually and said in a press conference or an interview or something that he did want more players next season because of there's extra games in the Champions League. You've also got this World Cup. So I do think that he will increase the numbers. By how many, I don't know.
Is it true we have?
We've also got to
15
resolve the
healthy?
issue with Nunes as well. Like, is this guy actually going to get given a chance next year? You know what I mean?
I think he's got a big season next season.
Yeah.
I hope so, man. I hope so. I like
we've seen glimpses of it, I think, and especially I think when Grealish was out, we were calling for some people anyway were calling out for Nunes to play on the left to cover that kind of player to go back and forth. I can't remember when Grealish was out and what games it was, and then we ended up having Doku on the left. But for me, I think he's got the potential there, and we've seen it at Wolves. He is a very kind of box-to-box player, but I just think Pep, unless you're coming in and hitting the ground running, is very reluctant to give people minutes in that first season until they fully understand the philosophy of it. Like, you look at Alvarez's first season, I think mainly a lot of his minutes came from people being out injured, and then he kind of flowed into the squad naturally. And I think the same with Nunes. And even looking at it yesterday, like, I think it was the clip when Edison had come off kicking the whatever he kicked. I think he is just happy to be here. I think he understands his kind of role, and thankfully he's got a bit more ability than Calvin Phillips, shall we say? But I think he understands what the purpose of him coming in was, whether it was kind of a rush signing or whatever people want to think. But I think he knows his objective, and second season could be big for him. But if it isn't, then I think that's when he kind of starts to look out
at least
the
he's
door.
got some hope, hasn't he, bro? Because like with Phillips, if we're being real, like, we knew that the guy was never going to work this year. I didn't want him in the first place.
We've took a massive loss on him. He's
big time. But like, even him, like in the summer when he wanted to stay, like, we all knew it was not going to work. Like with Nunes, at least, I know there are some people that don't rate him, but at least like there is a chance it could work next season because he is a good player.
There's
I
been
think
flashes. That's the thing. Yeah.
Of course there is.
Whereas
he's, some of the games, bro, he's looked fantastic. I can't remember the Champions League versus
Red Star.
He was brilliant that day.
And the World Club Cup, he was one of our best players. Okay, the opposition level, but he was sparkling. He was like bloody Yaya out there.
Whereas Calvin Phillips has been getting minutes for fucking charity, so I think there's a difference there. Whenever we were like 4 or 5 nil up, which wasn't very often, but the prime.
Sorry, Luke. Sorry, mate.
No. I just think the game that the prime example for Calvin Phillips was Newcastle away in the Carabao Cup.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
Yeah, Saints one as well. Christ.
What's that Simpsons kid? The little German one? Is it Gunter?
I have no idea.
Where he's like, "Don't make me run. I'm full of chocolate."
After
Isaac.
Don't make me run.
That's all I can see in my head. Just when he's tracking back, and against, was it Palace as well, or whoever it was, just trying to track back.
Don't make me run. I'm full of chocolate. Oh my god!
The thing with Phillips though is, I won't harp on too much on him, but it's just his lack of awareness and positional sense. He was literally like looking around, like, where do I go now? And Diaz was like pointing.
Biggest con with him.
Yeah,
that just shows how good of a manager Bielsa is. Making him look world class.
It's
in a poor side.
Is it 12 games we play in the Club World Cup? Is that right?
I have no idea, but I thought there was a legal challenge on that.
Yeah, but if it's 12 games, that can't be true, is it?
It probably is because they have expanded it. Yeah, well, they've expanded. It's like
12 games. We played 12 games. That is insane. That's the same as the Champions League.
It's like a full-on tournament now, not just like 2 games.
Is that the same size as the Champions League then? We played 12
it's basically
games,
like
right?
a full tournament now
That's
instead
insane.
of like playing 2 games.
Go all the way. Well, that's insane. But so let's say we go all the way in that. That's 12 extra games, right, for the season, and there's 4 extra games in Champions League. That's 16 extra games. That is an increase of the season of like 25% of games.
Yeah,
like that is a 70 game season.
And we have to understand that when it comes to a lot of players, for each game extra, it's not like this. It will progressively like risen, right? And we have players aging, like Walker, Kevin, Rodri needs to play less. All these players, which we have depended on heavily through the years, they need to play less, and we're going to add up to 16 games more. Man, we need a bigger squad. If we want to compete in all different tournaments, we need a bigger squad. And I think and hope that Pep realize it and then still have a small squad, but for that amount of games.
It's
right?
also
So-
about trusting some of the other players, though, man. It's about trusting Oscar Bob. It's about trusting Rico Lewis more. It's about trusting Matthias Nunes more. And here's the thing: if you don't trust him, get rid of him. Yeah, that's the facts. You know what I mean? Whether you like it or not, you either trust the players, regardless of how old they are, if they're 17, 18, or 33. You either trust them, and they're good enough to be in the squad, and you play them, or you don't trust them. In which case, at a club like City now, at the elite level that they're at, they shouldn't be there. So I agree. I think that you need to add a few more players, but it's also about like Gomez. He's not trusted. You know what I mean? Phillips was not trusted, so they shouldn't be in the squad. And there we go. Anyway, I want to move on to the VAR conversation before we wrap it up, guys. Big up to Quinny. Says yes, boys. One more to win to make some more history. And just wondering, have you seen an Arsenal fan got a Premier League champions tattoo?
She's not an Arsenal fan if he's on about that OnlyFans bird.
Oh no, I've not seen it. I've not seen it.
It's another fucking Astrid Wet.
I'm not seeing it, man. Big up Woodyer says, still not believe we won at Tottenham Stadium. We need to focus on a remaining match. Like Erling Haaland said on his post, job's not finished. Yeah, facts, absolutely. Big up to LB says, Sai, have you and LB fell out because I sense bad blood? We've had a big argument, actually. It's gonna. We'll do a video drop to members only, explaining what the argument was about.
and it's feisty, brothers.
I think we should all talk it over and have a pint.
Get a membership.
Big up to Osmodius with the 6 months says, saying we take care of business Sunday. Does Calvin just walk across the hall after the game and put on his champion shirt and go and get his medal? Oh, I forgot about that.
Has he played enough?
For City?
No.
Isn't it 10 games?
5.
No way has he
5.
played 10,
It's
surely.
5. No, it's 5.
Surely
it's
it's
5.
10 games.
It's 5 Prem games he needed
games,
to have played. Do you want me to
Yeah, I
check
don't
now?
think he has
There's no
that,
way he played
surely.
5 Prem games for us.
5
He's played
full or
1,
just...
2, 3, 4. Oh, he played 4!
Oh,
Oh, pain.
Is that where he starts at the first half for West Ham and then comes on second half for City and gets his medal?
Yeah. Oh my
Some
god. He played
WWE
4.
shit where he changes sides last minute.
Yeah, he won't get one. That's pain. Right, okay, VAR. So I don't know if you guys have seen this. It only dropped about an hour ago. But just to recap what's happened, essentially, whenever like the clubs get together at the meetings, clubs are able to put forward suggestions and they're able to put forward like votes on what they think, and then the clubs can vote for them and they can vote against them. That's basically how the system works in short. Wolves are not happy with VAR. They want it gone. They want it scrapped, essentially. Here's what they're saying. I'll get this up on screen so you guys can see it as well. He says Wolves have formally submitted a resolution to the Premier League to trigger a vote at the league's AGM in June of the removal of VAR from the start of the 2024-2025 season, hence next season. The introduction of VAR in 2019-20 was a decision made in good faith and with the best interests of football and the Premier League at its heart. However, it has led to numerous unintended negative consequences that are damaging the relationship between fans and football and undermining the value of the Premier League brand, which include impact on goal celebrations and the spontaneous passion that makes football special, which I guess everyone here has experienced that. I experienced it a little bit yesterday for the first goal. Frustration and confusion inside stadiums due to lengthy VAR checks and poor communication. A more hostile atmosphere with protests, booing of the Premier League anthem, chants against VAR. Overreach of VAR's original purpose to correct clear and obvious mistakes, now overanalyzing subjective decisions and compromising the game's fluidity and integrity. Diminished accountability of on-field officials due to the safety net of VAR, leading to erosion of authority on the pitch. Continued errors despite VAR, with supporters unable to accept human error after multiple views and replays, damaging confidence in officiating standards. Disruption of the Premier League's fast pace, with lengthy VAR checks and more added time, causing matches to run excessively long. Constant discourse about VAR decisions, often overshadowing the match itself and tarnishing the reputation of the league. And erosion of trust and reputation, with VAR fueling completely nonsensical allegations of corruption. The decision to table the resolution has come after careful consideration and with the utmost respect for the Premier League, PGMOL and fellow competitive. And then they just go on to explain the rest of it. Essentially, the bottom paragraph is also interesting. Our position is that a price is that the price that we are paying for a small increase in accuracy is at odds with the spirit of the game, and as a result, we should remove it from the 2024-2025 season. Now, whatever your opinion is, it's hard to disagree with anything that they've mentioned there, lads, to be honest with you. Like, all the bullet points there, I mean, they're spot on.
Bang on.
Yeah.
I think there's so many things that are wrong with it. Like, when it first came in, was it Euro 2016? Or was it after that? I can't remember.
Don't know.
When they first started testing it, it actually went well. I think it was World Cup 2018, sorry. And it actually looked like it was going to go well. I think there's so many issues with it in the Premier League. One, it kills the joy of a match there because you're having to sit and wait. Two, I think the only way you're ever going to improve VAR is if you kind of, I don't know if any of you watch rugby, but actually have it as like a rugby setup where you can actually see the replay. I know obviously people are going to object to that and say, oh, well, that'll cause more issues in the grounds because people will be watching it and giving their own opinion. But you can actually then hear the ref's comment as well, whether you're watching it like at home on your TV, I believe. And just to have transparency and the ref is respected. Whereas in football, it's complete opposite. This VAR is used as a scapegoat for bad refereeing decisions because then they can pin the blame on somebody else.
Yeah.
I.e., that so many conspiracy theories are being thrown around about, Nottingham Forest having a fucking Luton guy on VAR or whatever it was. Just silly things like that teams can use as a scapegoat for their poor performance. And I feel it's killed it, like, out the game. A part and parcel of what most of us watching football has been some of the decisions that have either gone against us or gone for us. And I think that is part of the game and the enjoyment of it. There's been times where we've been massively fucked over and VAR still hasn't helped. Like United last season, that was a clear and obvious, disruption of play. But for me, it just kills it because you're having to sit there, especially in the ground, wait 10, 15 minutes for one decision. Not that long, that's an exaggeration, but you get my gist.
I think
that.
Go on.
Sorry, go.
I think it could be good to have a lot of it removed, but potentially keep things in like the offside. I think the way that the Champions League does it is fantastic. It's like so fast and it's so seamless. I think if you have the offside part of VAR still in the game, I completely agree with that. But I think the rest of it, things like, is it a free kick? Is it more than a yellow card? That should just be down to the perception of the referees, because essentially that's what they've trained to do.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. I think the one thing to clarify is that they should definitely not get rid of goal line technology, and I don't think they should get rid of the offside, but with the Champions League one where it's like done in 10 seconds. Because that's the facts. Yeah. This is why I knew VAR was never ever going to work. It's because it's subjective. So no one's ever going to agree, and if no one agrees, then people are still going to dispute it and moan about referees. Because at the end of the day, I've always said this, right? I can show Luke a tackle, and he can go, well, straight red, and I can say, I think it's a great tackle.
Most of our tackles would have been straight reds.
Well, bro, who's to say you're right? Who's to say I'm right? Like, it's just opinions. Football's all about opinions. And like at the end of the day, like having another guy watch it on a TV and go, well, this is my opinion. If anything, you're just making it even worse because you're just getting another opinion. Like that was one of the. It's just ridiculous for me.
It's so bad with like the offsides. Like we've seen how many times this season. I won't count like the Liverpool Tottenham offside one because that's just an absolute fucking clusterfuck.
That's a process error.
Yeah, but what I mean is like when you're looking at an offside from a camera and then going, right, where's this line? Yeah. Where does it start? And then you're spending 20 minutes fucking having an episode of Art Attack with fucking Buchanan, whatever he's called, fucking trying to draw a line by going, right, his foot's there, we'll start there. And do you know what I mean? Like the one in the FA Cup, they actually drew it on Wan-Bissaka's foot. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just.
Well, that's why the new UEFA one is miles better because it's just a computer that does it. You know what I mean? Rather than
but then
a guy drawing a line.
It's trying to like watch. They're watching the same clip over and over again 20 times. Going, actually, that's where it annoys me because if they're watching like the ones where the studs are up is it a dangerous tackle? And they're watching it 20 times over. If you have to watch that 20 times over,
Agreed.
then you don't know what the decision is. You should
Yeah.
be
But
able to
you
watch
know
that
what,
once
though,
or
Luke?
twice.
Yeah, Luke.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, they never stuck to the original plan. The
Yeah,
original
clear and
plan was
obvious.
we're gonna check major issues. We're gonna check clear and obvious errors. And from day one, they didn't do that. They just started going because you know what? I tell you why.
Re-refereeing the
Because
game.
Do you
our
think they
first game.
dramatise it a little bit?
Of course they fucking do. The media love it. The media love it. They get all the extra programs. They get all the extra videos.
Well,
that
they get the
can do
PGMOL Howard Webb on all sorts of
yeah,
fucking
it's
sports
great for content.
broadcasters.
It's amazing. It's amazing because
Exactly.
all the Sky Sports, all these broadcasters, all the papers, they've got more and more stuff to talk about. Yeah, which is what they want. They want to have stuff to talk about because then they can sell advertisements on the newspapers, on the programs, all that kind of stuff. And VAR causes controversy. But I knew it was going to go wrong the first day because our first game with VAR, correct me if I'm wrong, was when we played West Ham away. And Raheem Sterling scored a goal and he was offside. And he was offside by that much. And I thought, hang on a minute. You told us it was going to be clear and obvious. You had Alan Shearer, who done this massive thing on TV saying, you won't even realise VAR's in the game. Ha! Looking nice one, mate. Yeah, cheers for that. So they didn't even have a clue. It's just, it's poor, man. It's poor. It's not clear and obvious.
Yeah, VAR isn't going anywhere. I do very highly doubt it is. But also the camera angles are shit. There was a Liverpool one. Was it Liverpool the other day who scored a goal that looked completely offside? They said it was onside.
Yeah,
Absolute bloody piss poor that was. It looked clearly off.
What
from the
game
angles.
was it where they've taken a corner or something and the defender hasn't come out? It's not the Arsenal United one.
Yeah, I remember.
But literally, they've done VAR based on like the defenders in the box, and they haven't seen the defender from the outside of the 18-yard box. And it's just things like that, like.
But do we all agree that it's not the technology, but it's the level of the referees and how they utilize the technology?
The officials.
I'm not against VAR as itself. I like the idea of it, and I do think that much of the problems will be helped with the semi-automatic offside. And I think we raise the level of the refs and have way more clear instruction when they are to interfere, which I do think they're becoming better at. I think they don't re-referee the games as much as they used to, which is a positive thing. I think it can be really good, but it still needs so much work. And this vote, even though I'm agreeing with Joan, they probably won't get rid of it, but this vote might encourage them to invest more in it, improve it faster with more direct instructions.
The thing that I struggle to understand is they've got 4 or 5 highly intelligent, highly trained people all sitting in a room behind screens when the average Joe like me or you can work out if that's a foul or if it's offside. They talk about grassroots football sort of slowly dying out. You're paying for 4 people to sit in a room and stare at a telly. Invest that money back into grassroots football, and go with the AI Champions League version.
Yeah, you know what it is though, Bevo. On the actual, not on offsides, on actual decisions like pens and red cards. I think the referees are so scared of getting shit wrong now because they just get cooked online and on all these shows that they just take ages. You know what they're going to do, right? If they want to do the clear and obvious thing, right? Because obviously the offside is changing to the UEFA one, and that's right. They need to stick with that, right? But let's say the VAR. You know what I'd do? I'd say, right, I'm going to get 3 referees in the VAR room, all separate, so they can't speak to each other, right? A tackle happens, referee gives a red card, yeah? What I do then, I give the 3 referees the same clips, and they've got 1 minute to cast the vote. And if all 3 of them say, actually, you made a decision, it was wrong decision there, it was a yellow card, then clearly you've made a clear and obvious error because 3 other referees are all reviewing it within a minute, and you've got to cast your vote. And if 2 of them vote for it and 1 of them doesn't, well, that's not clear and obvious for me because you've got 3 referees. You need all 3 of them to vote for the same decision, and then you can overturn it. But at the moment, you've got 1 guy sitting in the room, and how many times, does the guy in the room say to the referee, go review it on the monitor, and the guy on the monitor goes, what are you waffling about, bro? My original decision's correct. They always change it. They always change. So what's the point in having that there in the first place?
But VAR should never be used for decisions it can't make, if you see what I mean. Like the offside thing, if it can clearly tell you the absolute 100% answer, fine. It shouldn't be there for subjective. Let the ref on the field do that. I don't, and I also don't understand why they're still testing things and moving things about. Why are the Premier League, and I don't mean to sound snobby against the other leagues, but why are the Premier League using it and still tweaking it, still pissing about with the rules? Get it ready and bring the bloody thing in. It just
the one thing I would say on that, Tom, because it's so big, there was always going to be problems, and they're going to be tweaking it. But I just feel like they're going to be tweaking it forever. You know, they need to as well. Another thing, you can't be going back after a goal 20, 30 seconds to have a look if there was a foul 20, 30 seconds in the build. And I'm not just saying this because it was Liverpool. I'm just saying it because I remember it when Liverpool played against Palace away this season, and Palace scored a goal. Yeah, and they went back and reviewed it like 15 seconds earlier on, and it was like a foul, but it was one of those fouls.
Liverpool get one against Notts Forest as well?
Possibly. It's just like,
that's right.
What we're doing. You can't be re-refereeing the matches, which is what you said you wasn't going to do that. Have it if you want. Yeah, review red cards. It's like straight reds. Review that because that takes a while anyway. Because typically the referee gets a red card out. The player moans for 30 seconds, a minute. Then he walks off really slow. Then by the time he's got off the pitch, it's been about 2 or 3 minutes. So review the red cards. I'm fine with that. Yeah, but only change it if it's clearly a massive error. And then penalties. If you want to review penalties, but this is another thing with the penalties. They had an opportunity, right, when the VAR came in to say, right, we're going to clamp down now on all these soft penalties, yeah? And actually, they went the other way. They basically said, if there's contact, there's nothing we can do, boys. You know what I mean? Whereas, I felt like that was a great opportunity to say, we're going to stop these penalties for, slight touches. It's a contact sport. We're going to give penalties for proper tackle. But then again, it's like, if there's contact now, regardless of how small it is, they'd never overrule it. So
another one's handball.
Well, handball again, that is a tricky one because people will never agree on it, right? Because there's so much to go into it. It's where's your hand? Is your hand in a natural position? How close is the player who's handballed it to where the guy crossed it in? Because obviously, if I'm right next to you, my hand's up here and then it hits my hand, that's not a penalty because I'm right next to you, as per Ashley Young. But if I'm 10 yards away, my hand's up there, then it's a penalty. The handball rules are complicated rule. The easy way is just to say if it hits your hand, it's a penalty. But then you're going to get penalties every week.
But then isn't it meant to be?
Sorry, I was just going to say, isn't it? It's subjective again. That's all subjective. Is it handball? Isn't it handball? And it isn't part of football discussions after about how bad a decision was and stuff. That's what used to happen. You used to come and go, for fuck's sake, that bloody penalty given. That's all. It's hard, I don't know.
We never used to speak about the referees as much as we do now. Yeah, and maybe that the younger people might think that's BS, but we didn't. We never used to speak about referees as much as we do now. It's become worse since VAR.
Only Mike Dean when he wanted to play the fucking villain.
Yeah, true.
Other than that.
Right. We'll wrap it up anyway because we've got this watch along to go and do. And I know a couple of you guys have got to get off. Listen, lads, Bevo, Si, Tone, and Luke, thanks for joining me as always. Big up to you guys in the chat. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm going to go do a laugh along now on the second channel, More LB. Stream will redirect you. Hopefully Newcastle can win because that'll be pretty funny. Smash a like, subscribe. Make sure you leave your comments in down below. Let us know what you think about VAR. Should it stay? Should it go? Should we keep parts of it or not? Let us know in the comment section. And we'll see you in the next one. See you later.